Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought on another fantastic group of guests, a little different than usual. But you know what? Sometimes it just calls, we have to have a little bit of change. So it's all good. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And before we get to our good guests, the Oswald Chronicles currently on Kickstarter, so go check it out. We also have the Fellowship of the Indies. Go check that out. It's all in the show notes. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on my co-host. A little unusual because this particular person, I like to do these shows and I like to hide everything I do from them. But you know what? We had to bring her on. My co-host for tonight.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean hides? You can't hide anything from me. I have the keys to the house.
Listen, I have a pile of socks and it all goes underneath, and I know how you don't like dealing with dirty socks.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. So hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics with this deviant since 1992 because we have nowhere else to go. And I am known for the funny animal fantasy adventure Tall Tales, also written by this weirdo right here. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which is now in its last 68 hours on Kickstarter. Links in the chat on the side there. I am also a co-host with Nita Lanning on Ragin' 2, the vlogs, every Monday and Friday on the Ragin' 2 network. And you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWRKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics on YouTube at Daphne Lage Art.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
And our co-host for the
co-host. Speaking of Ragin.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Nita Lanning. I am a writer, vlogger, blogger from Southeast Louisiana. I am CEO and executive producer of the Ragin' 2 broadcast network.
Yeah. Also links in the chat.
Whatever. Yeah.
All right. And our first guest.
Aloha.
How you doing?
My name is
Aloha.
Anh Vu. I'm an illustrator from Hawaii, and some of you guys may also see me as an understudy of Mog Park. Just recently got a few publishing gigs with some indie creators. But yeah, just having fun here.
Nice to meet you, Anh.
Nice to meet you guys.
Hi. I'm Snoots VonSnips with War Dance Comics. I have been an artist for a while, but I'm with War Dance Comics and we're working on our flagship comic issues on Indiegogo. And we're still taking backers, but we have closed all Cameo tiers and it's a graphic novel. We're still working on it. We're still trying to get everything ready for print. It's going to take a while. It's a graphic novel, but yeah, we're still working on it. I'm green to the indie community. Like I said, this is our flagship comic. This is the first project I'm officially working on, but I've been an artist for a really long time and new to the comics industry. So I appreciate being here.
There you go. And let me tell you, I backed that book and it looks awesome. So no matter how long it takes, I want it.
We're trying.
Hi guys, I'm Mog Park. I'm an artist, and I do comics. And
I'm fucking awesome. Game of Thrones, throw shit out there, Mog.
Yeah, I do arts. Nice meeting you guys. Thank you for inviting me.
It's awesome having you, Mog.
Thank you.
Hey
everyone, I'm okay, Ingino. I'm doing well. Sorry, I was running a little late, getting ready. I am the author and writer of Fangs and Foul Play, which kickstarted back in November 2021, and we're all fulfilled now, and working on issue 2 coming out in hopefully a couple months.
All right, nice. Well, it's fantastic having all of you here. So let's get right to it. All right. Right now, as we all know, I don't know how I'm pretty sure everyone here has done campaigns, is involved in some form of campaigns or whatever. But right now, there's a lot of campaigns going right now. I know for certain because I'm running one. The crazy lady that I live with is running one. We're both involved in another one and one on IGG. So it's all over the place, right? So there's a lot of campaigns. So I'm wondering if any of you are going to launch soon. Are you having second thoughts about launching anytime soon? A new campaign or getting involved in a campaign because of just the amount of campaigns that are out there. All right, let's start with Leanne because we're gonna start at the bottom.
Okay. Not for that reason. I'm feeling a little bit behind on my preparation, so that's the only reason I'm like currently a little bit nervous about the upcoming campaign. But yeah, not because of the number of campaigns on Kickstarter, because I mean, is there ever really a time when there's not a lot? And I feel like if you're like waiting for that perfect time, it's probably not going to come. You could be waiting a very long time. So
right, I agree. Ann, how do you feel about it?
I'm a part of a couple campaigns, and honestly, I have no say on when they're gonna launch. I am but the artist. I'm given the deadline, and I just have to meet the deadline and send it in. But right now, I have one interior I'm doing and two prominent covers that I have to get done. I'm pretty much nearly done with those. So hopefully they'll launch soon. For me, just whenever the publisher needs it.
Gotcha. Snoots?
I would say my plate's pretty full with the current campaign I have right now. I think for a few people, I might be willing to squeeze in a cover or two. At the start of the campaign, I ended up doing two covers for Limitless Comics, and those runs are out right now for Thirst. Go check them out. And yeah, if I was asked to do a cover, I might be able to squeeze it in, but other than that, I'm pretty full on the campaign front. Issues is huge campaign to tackle for me.
Gotcha. I know you guys have computer problems, which is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mog, how are you seeing it on your end?
I'm sorry. What was the question? What are you talking about?
The Kickstarter and Indiegogo. There's a lot of campaigns running right now, so I was just wondering, like, what are your thoughts concerning them? Are you like, if you were to get involved with one, would you get involved because there's so many campaigns running? Do you think it's a detriment to you to get involved?
You mean involved as in specifically working or supporting them?
Either one.
Well, then my answer would be similar to Snoots here. I have a lot. I've got Kickstarter for Sister Mercy. My cover was done. And there's 2 Kickstarters launching next month. And then on top of that, I'm going to start working on, actually already am working on Snowpaw interior pages. Right. So it's always like the time factor that's a huge, I think it's the time factor is a huge, I don't want to say issue, but it's a factor basically. That's the thing. And as long as, if I had the time, I would love to just support everything, but yeah.
I got you. It's really busy. Nita. I see you eating, so it's your turn up. So of course,
Of course, right? I'm thinking I put the edible in my mouth, right? Okay, so for me, please, everybody, just hold off. Just wait a minute. I've got 31 campaigns I'm pushing right now. Wow, it's like 31. Let's slow our roll a bit. But seriously, no. If it was my own, I wouldn't let that stop me, because it's your own grind and hustle that's going to predict your outcome anyway. It doesn't matter if there's 5 running or 100 running. balls to the walls and get to it.
There you go. And from a professional pusher. So
Right.
there you go.
Yeah, I prefer
Really? 31?
31.
I mean, but
There's-
do you see that many being like a detriment, or it's just it is what it is?
It's a lot. But I don't see it as being a detriment. It is what it is. It's happened. There's been tighter. There was one point, I think it was back in October when everybody was trying to get that pre-holiday rush in, that there were 56 on my plate. So,
wow, that's crazy. Christy Shin says, "I don't have that luxury as just the artist." Lol, Daphne and I can relate.
Yeah,
we run our own.
Exactly.
Jing
Hey,
Jing
Jing.
says, "Hey Mog."
Okay.
Christy also
What's up,
says you
Jing?
sort of have to observe trends and follow your gut. Too true.
Yeah.
So Daphne, how do you feel about it?
Well, the funny thing is like I really don't follow trends on Kickstarter. It's like I just make my schedule out according to how I feel I could better, I guess, best run these campaigns and fulfill them. Who's running a campaign at the same time kind of doesn't cross my mind at all. So I just like plan out according to like, okay, I have these books and I need to get them out in a certain time. So this is my schedule. And that's why, you know, I have everything scheduled out so far until 2025. So I really can't keep track of what everybody else is doing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even look, yeah. I mean, I have enough material for campaigns for like 16 campaigns, but I don't plan them out. I just drop them. So I don't even care who's out there.
Yeah, it's like he'll put them together in a weekend and then by Monday it launches. That's pretty much it.
Something like that. Yeah. So okay.
hey, Larry.
Hey.
What's up, Larry? Larry says word. In fact, I can drop it like a salesman. Nice.
Hot.
You had to have no shame. This is very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Miss Co-host, you're up.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's me. Wait. Okay. So I guess it's like this is a two-part question. So what is the one positive thing you've learned from crowdfunding or at least selling your work professionally? And what is the one negative thing you've learned from crowdfunding or selling your work professionally?
Nice.
So one negative, one positive.
An, you're up. Am I correct? Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, on like on off on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But wow, good question. Positive thing is well, I just learned to connect with people more because behind every story and behind every person that comes up and sees the art or reads the story, everyone has their own story and they're gonna interpret what is being presented in a different way. So it's just fascinating for me to connect with people on that terms. And then as a creator, you get inspired by what you hear from people too, and how they what's their take on your work as well. And negative thing, I mean, not really. I'm not involved. I have the luxury of not being involved in like planning it out. You know, I simply provide the work, so I pretty much get the nicer seat of just being a creative in that sense. But I get to learn as well. I'm coming into this pretty young for my age still, and I just get to be mentored and learn from all those who are out there. My first cover work was with Jim Noble, and he hustled like crazy, and he has so many covers, right? So just how do I make my stand out? So I get to learn that. And then Mark May was my first interior. Then I get to learn the process behind how a book is being formed to begin with, and from scratch, you know, starting with the script. So I got, yeah, I get the nicer seat of just being a part of it.
Nice. Snoots?
I would say a positive is like On said, I'm a little more on the watching side. Mike did a lot of the networking, which was nice. But there's a lot going on as far as smear campaigns for a lot of geek culture. So there's a lot of smear about like misogyny and toxic fandoms and all this kind of stuff. So it didn't really get that bad, but it was starting whenever we launched our campaign. So I was worried going into there because me and Mike are new, and me being a lady, of how our comic was going to be received, but nobody cared. It was very well received. JD was our first interview, and he was a wonderful host. Not kissing any ass here, but
That's okay. He likes it.
but we had like maybe one or two just like odd confrontations, but for the most part, the community was very accepting, and we were worried about being able to actually get our first flagship actually have the goal reached. We were really worried about that because we've known so many people who haven't, but the community was very well accepting and we had no problem. So I would say that's a huge positive. Back to your first question of like, when is the time? As soon as you're ready to launch, like the community is out there and they want content and they crave good stories. So as long as you have a good campaign to launch, the community is absolutely there to accept it. So I would say that is a positive. I would say negative is we boasted that we had cameo tiers, and we didn't have the book. We had certain parts of the book fledged out, but we didn't have a lot of like the we didn't have too much ironclad because we wanted to leave room for cameos. And there were a lot of cameo tiers that actually went into the story, so characters could actually alter the story. And depending on how much you backed, you could actually involve the story yourself. So I would say a negative is, instead of having the book damn near finished by the time we went to launch, we were still in a writing phase, so to speak, because we wanted that involvement. So that negative is we want that fan involvement, we want those cameos, but everybody's expecting us to be launched like everybody else, where the book should be damn near done by the time we have our campaign launched. That's not the case for us. And it's really hard to get backers to understand that we're not at the printing phase upon, campaign. So I would say that's one negative. That's one thing we definitely learned. So from book 2, we are still going to have cameos, but we just know now a better way to approach it. So
all right.
You live and you learn.
Live and learn. That's it.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna put up some of these some of these posts. Christy Shin, go back that demon.
Go check that crap out.
All right. Dojo Cut says positive, amazing support from others in the industry. Negative, far too many people paint entire groups with a broad brush and assuming all will subscribe to their same attitudes. Rich Alice says, "What's up, panel?"
Hey,
What's up?
Hell, Roach Balls, whatever. That's his crazy ass book. The book looks awesome.
That book's
But,
fucking awesome.
Yep. I say Nita shared mine when I was at a con. People help you if you're not a butthole.
yeah,
Yep.
that would
Don't
help.
be an asshole.
Uh-huh.
Just don't be an asshole.
Don't be an
Yeah.
asshole. That's the
It's
golden
such a
rule.
it's such a simple it's such a simple rule that not a lot of people, well, enough people know.
Yeah, you would think
Yeah,
it'd be a rule to follow,
Oh
but
yeah.
So Doja Cat says women in comics are extremely welcome. People are scared of me by how I treat demon bitch. Okay. That's what crowdfunding should be, in my opinion. Snoots and Mike have the right idea. Very true. I write offensive thank you notes that are personal. Just
That
ask
bitch
me.
sure does.
you get along well with Mike. He writes penises on all his thank you notes.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. Very nice.
shows you he cares.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Just for you.
That's nuts.
Uh-huh. Well, that's to go along with the penis. But anyway, Mog.
If you have to
You're up.
explain my joke, JD, it's not funny anymore.
That's
For me, this is just from an artist perspective, so it's not coming from a someone who is doing actual Kickstarter. As an artist, it's excellent. I mean, there's a lot of pros more than the cons, but if I have to really pinpoint it down to the best pro, it would be excellent marketing for yourself. And then the second part, for the con, it would be, again, it just kind of goes back to time. I wish I had more time to do my own stuff. That's the only thing, really. It's really not a negative if you think about it. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Leanne, you're up.
Positive for me, I think, was just like knowing, like after it was finished and funded, just knowing that I could do it, and that we made it on. Anyways, it's my campaign, but the artists and team and all that funded on our first Kickstarter, so that was really, what's the word? Reassuring. Yeah. So I was definitely very worried going into it. I was like, oh my God, when am I going to run this again if it doesn't, go through? And negative, there were a couple of things I was definitely rushing. I swore I wasn't going to do that again this time, but at this point it's like, do it when I want to do it, or who knows? So I might be doing a little rushing, but thank goodness. I mean, you can't like clone the Kickstarter page. I wish you could, but just copy and pasted all the text.
Oh, that would be, that would be good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That'd be so nice. But
duplicate from previous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You'd really think, but
yeah. I utilize a lot of copy and paste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that for the text and then had to go back with all the images, and now we got to put in the new images, of course. I wish I would have done more research on BackerKit first. It was great, but it's really complicated to set up. It's not very it was very, very, very helpful once I got it set up. I didn't find it particularly user-friendly though. Right? Yeah. They were very helpful though, so that was good.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, more pre-set up as much as possible.
Nice. All right, cool. Nita.
I'm going to agree with Dojo on the positive. The support, the outpouring of support from people in the industry, but on the same hand, the con is similar too, because you meet people who you think are there to help you and expand your network and grow, and you will run into a lot of backstabbers or just leeches, just people who want to have their name attached to something and not put anything forward with it, not even market it, but want their names attached to it and weren't even a part of the fucking project. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like all the good points have been hit. So
gotcha. Hold on, let me just put these up real quick. Christy says, friend me on Facebook then. And then
nobody wants to be your friend.
JL says, BackerKit can be tough to figure out, but super helpful once it's set up. So there you go.
I agree.
So I guess I'm supposed to answer the question next. Positives, I get to feed my artists. It's nice. I think they appreciate that. So
and he has a lot of artists to feed.
I have a lot of artists to feed, yeah. And I'm trying to feed more. I want more money so I can feed more artists. So that's how that works for me. And
let me get my crayons.
There you go. As far as negatives, I mean, what is it really that's negative? I've been able to finance my very expensive hobby, through this, and so I enjoy it. I don't really see a negative. I mean, yeah, once in a while you run across some people you don't want to run across, but it is what it is. That happens to me on the subway all the time, so it's not that big a deal. I live in New York City, by the way, so the subway could be an adventure all of its own. So, Daphne, you're up.
Okay. My answer or another question?
No. You get to answer your own
I
question.
have to answer that. Okay, I have to answer my own question. Okay, the positive thing that's actually, it's kind of bittersweet more than positive, is realizing that there are people who actually enjoy the work that I put out when it doesn't. But the problem is that then that triggers an imposter syndrome result. So I think, they're just all being nice to me type of thing. But no, it's the positive is realizing that I'm not creating in a vacuum. and people are enjoying the work that I put out. The main negative thing, especially with this campaign that I have running now, is getting the word out. I mean, we all talk about the signal to noise, and it's like, and there are just some times where it's like I'm like banging my head against the wall. Like, how do I get more people to know?
Scream louder. There's a lot of noise right now.
Yeah, really. It's like I'm trying to get this campaign to kind of like push it to the next level, and it's like I'm kind of all out of ideas right now. and it's like, okay, it's like, so even after the campaign finishes, I'm like, what do I do next? How do I, move the needle, that type of thing. So that's the main negative thing that I get, that it's like, how do I get the attention that I need in order to push my campaigns forward and be able to create, to allow me to afford to make more work, in a sense.
That always makes me think about this philosophy when it comes to business. They say that first of all, the three basic success to business: one, you have to know you have to be of service. You have to find something that can be of service. And second is you have to create a product that's really good. So it always makes me think about, like, if something fails, I mean, even as an artist or a Kickstarter, how much can you blame it on yourself that maybe it's not good because it's just the product is not there yet? How much is that really relevant? I mean, it always makes me question that part.
I mean, because there's a lot, because the thing is, especially about marketing, is that there's so many variables we can't control. Like when we were talking about, like, is there too many campaigns out? We can't control how many campaigns are out there. So it's like, we have to figure out how to wiggle through that. On the other hand, it's like, it's also a thing about, like, are we finding our people? Are we finding our niche? And that's kind of tough too, because it's like, okay, they're out there. We know they're there because obviously we're getting some of them on our campaigns, but we know there's more.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to figure out where they are and tell them and say, oh, hey, by the way, I'm right here.
On the last stream I was on of JD's, we kind of touched on that, where it was like, what would you want from a publisher if you were to get signed? And me and several other people agreed, where it was just like, it'd be nice to have somebody to just market, so you can focus as at least an artist. I can just do my art and just focus on that. So somebody else can worry about the marketing and the hashtags and finding the people, because there are people who want this content. It's just, we're running a bunch of full-time gigs. We're the marketer, we're the printer, we're the artist. We're doing all of these things all at once. So it's hard to juggle everything and not sacrifice one for another.
Yeah.
Too true.
And
Hold on,
that's
let me.
where I think networking has been really important. As far as I've learned, you don't just network with potential client. You don't just network with a writer or a similar creative. It's good, to cross ideas, but at the same time, you want to expand your net when you go networking. Like, for me personally, I don't like talking to people, so I'll just talk about just anyone and find out, well, what do they do? What do they know? Where did they get their shirt?
Yeah.
Where was it made? It's like, how much do they charge and what material is it? You dig. The more you dig and you collect these information, you're bound to find a solution somewhere. So, like, even having a publisher sounds easy, but heck, there are so many ways and many people out there that can support you. Just that it will take that time. Where they say good things take time, and that's why it's like, also the audiences have to understand that too. Good things will take time, and we gotta be able to build that trust and among each other. Yeah.
All right, cool. Hold on, let me put up. But you're right though, because I mean, I network with all kinds of people, all kinds of artists, and it's funny because I don't get to work with even just like half of them. But I also have a lot of friends who are doing books and they need artists. And I'm like, all right, well, try this person or try that person. I always end up, passing on these other artists. And, sometimes I get angry because I'm like, damn it, I wanted to work with that person first. But, but you got to you have to help people. So you can't just do that. All right. So Chrissy says, of course they do. Now I'll send something awful to Nita right now. All right.
She did.
Nice.
It's awful.
Because I received a very sweet thank you note from Christy. I think anyway, she may have an undiagnosed form of Tourette's.
Yes, indeed.
Scream really loud, be obnoxious, and no wait. That's how you get noticed from respect of a Tijuana hooker. Nice. In all seriousness, me having a filthy ass mouth and fucked up sense of humor has me endearing. And from John, Daphne Lage, I love your artwork.
Thank you.
All right. So now that we got through that, Miss Co-host, it's your turn.
Well, that's me.
Yeah.
That's you.
Did you do your homework?
Did you do your homework?
The dog ate it. The hamster did it.
That's true.
If you could go back and learn anything that could help you be better at what you do now, what would it be?
Miss Snoots, you're up.
No, I don't like that question. I have to look at my failures. Something I would have to go back and learn, you said. I would say page layout. And like I love watching movies, and I feel a connection to a lot of cinematography. I get a lot of shit for liking hipster looking movies or like art house films, but just it's something I'm drawn to. But it's almost like I love it because I can't do it. I've always been an artist that can draw from reference, and it's really hard for me to actually for lack of better words, just pull something out of my ass and just kind of sketch it down. I always have to have reference, and I get compliments on how realistic things look, but I'm always like, I use reference. So when it comes to page layouts, that's literally something I don't have reference for. I just have to throw it out there. And if I can go back and learn something and actually really apply myself to understanding something, I think it would be that. I'm constantly having to go back to Mike because he's been reading comics his whole life. And it's just, as a writer and as somebody who understands flow and just the way his brain works, he gets it. So half the time he'll scribble down a bunch of stick figures, and I'll translate to something that looks a little more realistic, and he'll edit it from there. And then I can make something that looks like an actual page layout. But it's a lot of volleying back and forth. It'd be nice to be able to go back and learn. So it's just something I can do, show a finished product to my writer and be like, is this what you wanted? And have him be like, yeah, sure, go for it. But yeah, that's something I wish I can go back and learn.
All right, cool. Miss Mog, is there anything you would like to go back and learn?
Oh my god, yeah. If I can go back, this is fantasy, but I'll say, hey, invest in Bitcoin. And I would say, yo,
career focus, Mog. Career
don't be a dumbass. Just keep, work on your marketing and networking. Because when I think part of the reason why we all start as an artist, people who do start as an artist, we're kind of like very introverted, and we have this really stupid belief that, if you do your art and you work on your skill, it's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna work out. And that's why I did art, because I want to be left alone. I want to be in this little corner against the wall, facing the window, and never be bothered. Maybe except for you guys. But it's like, that's like a stupid delusion. It's just, art is like a business. And I wish I had that street smart, like at least the dumb, like if I can say the dumb to my dumb self back when I was like teen or 20s, I was like, yo, just market. Don't think about anything else. Don't think about business or money, whatever. Just market. I think that's the best advice I would say. Yeah.
Cool. Leanne, what do you got? What do you have? What would you like to go back and learn?
I have a couple of things. Well, I mean, stuff I'm working on now for some of it. One thing I'd like to just know is just like, I think it's really beneficial to know stuff around like how the final production file should be, like in case my production team is out and I need something printed, because I've run into that a couple times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm up against deadline, but I have no idea if the file's correct and I don't want to send it to the printer and pay like whatever for this and then have it come back bad because I didn't know what I was doing. So that's something I just think is really useful, and it's something I want to look into in the next couple months because I'm too busy setting up the campaign right now. The other is just accounting. Like, I'm really good with doing my numbers and all that sort of stuff. I've been self-employed for like 12 years, not doing comics, but I've had to do my taxes and keep track of numbers. But this is like a whole different beast. I just finally figured out how I need to track my inventory. That's took me forever. Because I haven't had an inventory-based business before. Well, I did once, but I probably was doing it wrong, and it was much smaller. And I ended that anyway, so it didn't matter. And then, like right now, I'm trying to figure out how to mark all my expenses in such a way and track my project to figure out when a project is actually profitable, which isn't going to be for like at least 5 years anyways. But I want to know when that happens. I want to be able to say, yes, okay, we've everything's been paid back. We've hit profit now. This is here, and it's, I think that's important to know. But oh my gosh, it is very time intensive to learn. And I wish I could have done that earlier so that I'm not trying to do it now while I'm like getting ready for a Kickstarter campaign.
All right. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Yes. That's all I have to say to that one is yes. Yes. On. You're up. What do you think you could have learned earlier on?
Just wagoning on Leanne's statement about accounting and finance. I just got out of college about 3 years ago. So I pretty much don't know too much. I mean, I had a previous day job, so like the filing of taxes is so much easier. Like you go through TurboTax, you got your W form, and it just goes straight through. But so I'm starting to learn to do the accounting. I only started getting, I guess, the profits where it's like, oh yeah, I need to keep tab of it, and not till like last September. That's when I started having it really, and I've been drawing over a decade of my life, but I never had to do any of this as a kid. And then but another thing I wish I learned a little bit earlier, maybe out of my mom's womb even, is time management and learning to prioritize things, because I'm personally struggling with finding time for myself and my family. I get out of bed and I go straight to my desk. It's a one hop over, and sometimes I forget to eat meals. So a lot of times as creatives, we're just so stuck in the process that we forget about our own body, and then one day you just over and there goes a day of work, and that's downtime, company time, downtime, but learning to manage your time where you have a regular life in a way too, and knowing how to prioritize tasks, where some stuff like, even when you're in the drawing process, what are the main details? Focus on those. The rest, they're in the dark. Do you really need those details? No. So it's like learning to prioritize and just manage your time. It's so important.
Just on what you just said of what details do you need, which can you forego? I think a really good quote from Seth MacFarlane. I was watching one of his streams with Mike, and like him warming up for the day, and he was just like, what some parents need to know is sometimes you're just going to have an ugly kid. So as an artist, sometimes you're just going to have an ugly panel, and you just got to get used to that. And me and Mike just looked at each other. We're like, that's some weirdly amazing advice.
Yeah.
Where sometimes you're gonna have an ugly kid and you just got to deal with it. You just move on to the next panel, keep the work production going, and just you have to learn to be okay with it.
Well, this is true. I like it. Daphne, you were next.
I see. The thing that I would definitely would have done differently is taken learning the fundamentals a lot more seriously. Because it feels like everything that I should have been learning back then, it's only clicking now. And I just feel that if I had known all this back then, I probably would have been less. Well, no, I would have been more confident in the work that I was doing and produced more as a result, as opposed to kind of like having this insecure paralysis that kept me from producing as much work as I could have. So, yeah.
All right, cool. I'm in the same boat as Mog. I would have bet on Buster Douglas, everything on Buster Douglas. It was 36-1. Would have walked away with a mint.
Yes.
See, Mog knows. Mog knows.
Yeah, man.
But as far as I don't know, as far as the profession goes, like what I would have liked to have known, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe, yeah, probably the marketing end of it, because that's really the one portion of it that it does escape me. It's just like, you got to go out there and tweet and do all this stuff, and it's just like, okay, fine, and it's laborious, it's just, you got to go in there, and you're like, okay, then 52 pages later, you're like, okay, now let me go write and really do the thing I want to do, but yeah, that's what it is for me. But hold on, let me post up some of these. Everybody got mad at me, so that's why I'm an artist. Agent Zero says he'll chat. Just move on to the next kid. Wait. So I got
sometimes that kid grows on you. I had one when they brought it to me. It's like it was my own, and I'm like, oh my god, you little lizard fuck! I have to love you. And she's beautiful now. I mean, it's beautiful. That's a beautiful kid now.
But just alien when you brought it to her.
Oh my god, yeah. It was like, oh god, I love you because nobody else will.
You know what's really ironic to me? When Anne said that for her it's time management. I mean, she sounds like she's a lazy ass, but actually she's one of the most like workaholic person I've ever met.
Those are the ones who need to learn how to time manage.
Yeah, it's funny. It's always like the workaholics who works like a maniac, who produces like so much. You say, I just can't do enough. Like, I'm so bad at time management. It's like, no, I think you're really good. But yeah,
that's where it is. It's like time management is not only for your project, but it's also for your life. You can't forget about the loved ones around you.
Yeah, you gotta have that self-care.
Yeah, you have to have your own self-care. But like for me, family is so important. I still have family relatives in Vietnam, and I haven't been able to visit them for like half a decade already. So, I miss them terribly, but I'm just always like, I have so much to do. And like even my mom, taking her out for a dinner sometimes, I'm just like, oh my god, this is what I need to be doing more. Why aren't I doing this more? It's like life crisis for me in a way. But really,
that's so opposite. You have to think it like this. No. You don't love me enough. You're not giving me time. So
oh my god.
If they're demanding attention from you, it's because they're needy, insecure people, and they just don't know.
Mom, you need Snickers.
Push them away and just focus on your work.
I got you some candy right here.
Understand, Mog. I guess I will pick up your phone call a little less. Got it.
Your mom's like, I haven't seen you in a month. You're so needy. Yep. Back off.
What? That's right. You want me to take you out for dinner? Here's money. Just go. Leave me alone. Can't you see? I'm giving you money so you can go and eat, right? This is my. Right. I'm feeding you. Okay. So yes.
Wow.
Mom, I'll remember this when I go visit you. Go to the corner over there. I'll be here. Stay there. Stay. You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. The student is learning. Right. Chrissy says I got smacked enough times, so I guess that fear of reprisal is gone. NGL, I was absolutely lost on marketing before taking the Comics Launch Pro course. Well,
yeah. It was very helpful.
Yep. I looked pissed off when I was bored. If you don't make time for your wellness, we'll end up taking time for your sickness. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
very true. All right, Miss Nita, answer your own question.
What was my question?
Oh,
Your question.
Oh yeah. No, I'm
figure it out quick.
Okay, so as a writer, it was more of a training myself thing than something that I wish I would have trained myself to accept a rough draft as a rough draft.
Oh,
but I can't. I have never been one to do that, and that is why I am slow getting written shit out. Like I obsess. I'll go over and over and over a paragraph. But as a marketer, fucking Photoshop. I wish I would have taken the time to master fucking Photoshop. And now I'm so busy. Everything's moving so fast right now that I don't have time to play around and fuck with Photoshop. So it's more convenient to outsource, but it sure would have been nice to save that money.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Now, I have a question for you guys. I was going to save this one for later, but I think we need to have a softball question that I think everyone will appreciate this. So what's your guilty pleasure? Like, what's the movie, book, food, whatever, that if you tell people that it is, they'll be like, what? Really?
Then why would we say that in a public forum?
Yes. Listen. I'll start. All right. Two of my guilty pleasure movies. Two of my favorite guilty pleasure movies. Some Kind of Wonderful and Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my
I can vouch for that. Yes.
Yeah. Those are my guilty pleasure films. So you know.
Oh, that was my respect. It just fell on the floor.
Right. You don't like Some Kind of Wonderful or Pitch Perfect?
It's you, man. Oh my god, you do you. Yep.
Something about John Cusack.
There it is.
Definitely.
So, there it is.
Quick follow up on the marketing and learning Photoshop. Why not Canva?
Oh, that's the online. That's the online app.
No, I'm actually like, I don't know. I'm not a pro at Photoshop, but I know it like well enough that like Canva actually like mildly confuses me. But like in general, most people, it's just like so much more intuitive for.
I use Clip Studio. I absolutely love Clip Studio. I used to use Psy, and Clip Studio is amazing. And my family watches Drawfee, so I'll pop in the living room every once in a while. I'll hear them talking about it. We're just like, I use Photoshop all the time, but the more I use Clip Studio, the more intuitive it is. So I personally recommend Clip Studio.
Yeah, and also I know Photoshop. I mean, it's like I pretty much know all these programs because I couldn't outsource. I couldn't afford to outsource. I had to learn everything myself. And they're just some and as much as I like love the idea of Clip Studio Paint, I don't have time for the learning curve. And that's really like the main obstacle of that. It's like I don't have time for another learning curve. It's
that's
like either I know it, it's like either I know it or
things
I
are
don't.
moving too fast. It's like there's no time to slow down for something else. It's gonna make me trip.
I love my phone. Like I use Canva as well, and I bus around. I still am bussing around, but I have a plan to get a car soon. If people follow me on my Instagram or my Facebook story, I get lost all the time, even though it's an island. I live on an island. But in the time that I get lost or I'm riding the bus, I utilize that time to make all my ads. Nowadays I actually have Mog's husband who helps me out with making ads. He just loves doing it, so it's like yay, that's time off of me. But whenever I have a chance where I'm just sitting there, I have my phone. I'll use Canva. Canva is actually very quick. They have layout for all social media, and literally you just drag all your photos from your gallery and move it. And they have all kind of quirky, nice fonts and graphics, and just overlay, and it's very anything pleasant to the eyes, I guess. So anytime I get, again, time management.
Nice. Hold on, let me put some of these up. It's impossible to master Photoshop from Nimprod. Big same on the learning curve.
Yeah.
And then J Rod says that was my issue finding time to learn, but I dabbled a little in Clip and Procreate.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, that was all I was able to do was dabble. And but I just like, it's like, okay, I got to get work done, and it's like, okay, Photoshop. Then it just goes back to that, it's
right. And let me tell you, it wasn't so much a thing about she couldn't get anyone to do the work for her. It was just a thing of Daphne likes to be in control.
Yeah, well, that's true too. It's like I like things to look a certain way, and it's like, and I have a very hard time outsourcing that. I'm lucky I have a flatter for my comics. Right. I'm very, and that took me a while to kind of like get over that, to get a flatter. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So let's get back to the topic. Guilty pleasures. Mog, what are your guilty pleasures, if you have any?
Dude.
Yeah.
Skyrim, man. Skyrim. But there is something I learned from my dog. What I learned from my dog is no shame, no pain. Embarrassed. Seriously. Nice. Why are you so even embarrassed about it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's Skyrim and dogs.
Skyrim.
Exactly, man.
Nice. I like it. Nice.
To the point I'm like, shut up. My wife's trying to talk to me, see?
Leanne, what are your guilty pleasures?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I don't know if I consider them guilty pleasures. And like half the like movies I used to watch, I haven't really, that I might have put in that category. I haven't watched them in a very long time. But I don't know. One of my favorite movies that's like an older movie, I haven't watched it in forever, is Ever After. I rewatched Jurassic Park, like all of them, including number 3, whenever I do my taxes. And I actually it was weird. It's almost like a subconscious thing where I was like, oh, I have to have Jurassic Park on, or it's like Jurassic Park or Harry Potter when I'm doing my taxes. I don't know. I rewatch a lot of stuff. So it's kind of like, I have a lot of favorites. Actually, I'm a DVD person, and my husband like hates that like I have physical discs. They're so outdated. I'm like, I don't care. I like looking at them. They're there, and I can go get them.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. And then there's always that experience where you go look for a movie online and you can't find it.
Yeah. Or they changed it or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I hate that too. That's why I have a big library of movies too. So, Miss An, what's your guilty pleasure?
Movie-wise, the top one is The Witcher. That's the reason why I got Netflix.
Well done.
I know almost all of the song. I sing them during the shower. Yeah. Especially there's one particular song from the second season. This is the song name, okay? It's quote, Horson's Blue. A Horson Blue, yeah. Sorry. But anyways, end quote. I love The Witchers. Other than that, I spend a bit of money collecting statues.
What type of statues?
Was it? I have a few Zamparilla. I have one that's 50th anniversary. After the artwork of Pepe Gonzalez. I love his artwork, so I have a poster that's the door size poster of that same figure where she's just standing there with the bat on her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that. Yeah. 2 Dawn, couple of Lady Death, Rosetta. I'm almost done collecting that whole collection of the 9 statues, and I go hunt for them at book offs or expos and stuff. So I get good deals.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I have a few of those, so I know exactly how you feel. Yeah.
Yes.
Snoots, any guilty pleasures?
I've got a few. Back in the day, I used to also watch my DVD collections, and I only had a few. So when I would art, it was like the background noise, and there was XXX with Vin Diesel, and that one is a pain in the ass to find on streaming because of its goddamn name. So there's that. Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley, Sense and Sensibility with Kate Winslet, which I hate the Jane Austen books. They're like, I can't even get past the first page, but I like the way those movies are portrayed. And like Mike gives me so much shit about those, and I'm like, you should watch them at one point. And he's like, no, never. I grew up in a religious environment, but I still have a place in my heart for watching Prince of Egypt, so I'll put that on occasion. But I don't know. I watch the same shows over and over again. Like there are comfort shows, but I wouldn't really call them guilty pleasures, like Archer and stuff like that. But I would say those other ones are ones I don't really talk about too much. So,
Snoots, what about VeggieTales?
Oh my god, it's been forever. I think I watched Larry Boy last year just to see if it was what I remember it was, and it was. Right. It was great. I loved it.
I haven't watched it in forever, but anytime I'm missing my hairbrush.
I just went through Peacock to see like on their comedy genre, and 3-2-1 Penguins was on there, and I just about lost my shit. I was like, where did this freaking obscurity come from? This is amazing. So I added it to my watch list.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm probably have to. One of my other ones is probably Powerpuff Girls. I'm probably have to go back and rewatch those.
Do it
before the new one comes out, right?
That one got canned.
Oh. They canned it. And then thank goodness.
The script got leaked and everybody lost their minds, so they're like, nope, let's pretend this never happened.
Yep, that was the best thing they ever did too. Lord.
Well, there's also the Winx. So if they go after that one, I don't know. If they messed up on Powerpuff Girl and they try to do Winx, then it's like, oh.
Oof.
Yo, no.
All right, I'm gonna just read off some of these comments real quick. That was my issue, finding time to learn, but I dabbled a little bit in clip on this one. I pretty much don't trust anyone aside from a few work that I work on my staff. I do everything myself. Getting an inker was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Carlos, how you doing? Hey all. Hey. It's about time, JD. Tank Fair says hello.
Hello. Ferrets. Hey, Tank Ferret.
J-Bot says Torrance. My guilty pleasure, Kat Perry.
Katy
Perry, excuse me. This is mine is getting fat. There you go. Watching movies, Van Damme movies. That's yes, definitely an acquired taste. Powerpuff Girls for life. There you go. All right, Daphne.
Yeah.
Did you answer the question?
No.
There you go.
All right. Guilty. Well, it's like guilty pleasure is such a strange phrase. I mean, is it really? I mean, it's like why
define guilty?
Yeah, it's like like, why should we feel guilty about enjoying something? But also at the same time, it's like, is it really a guilty pleasure, or we just have shitty taste? It's like,
wow. Let me just revise one of my answers. I will say a guilty pleasure is Star Wars Episode 1 because I grew up with it. And when I was a kid, I thought Jar Jar was hilarious. And then growing up, knowing what I know now, I'm like, Episode 1 is still like my favorite of the prequels.
Oh my god.
That's legitimately a guilty pleasure.
If this was me, the StreamYard, I'd kick you.
Man, guilty pleasure. Oh my god, because that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I think my most recent, because I don't know. It's like I just enjoy stupid shit, and it's like I just leave it at that. But I think the most recent one, I mean, is my hentai game, Seeds of Chaos.
Oh my gosh.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah, it's called Seeds of Chaos. It's a pornographic visual novel / strategy game.
Oh, I thought you were saying its name is My Hentai. I'm like, that's an interesting.
No, it's a hentai game.
Got it.
So it's a pornographic strategy game, and I absolutely love this game. although it's been for a little bit, it's been stressing me out for so it's like I had to kind of like chill on playing it. So I'm waiting for a couple of updates, so that maybe I can like with a clearer head go back into playing it, because some of the decision points stress me out because it's it's a game where it's like it's kind of like an anti-hero game where you have a hero and the I guess like the idea is getting through the quests the game gives you and kind of like playing with his corruption level. So it's like depending on how corrupt you make the character, it depends on how you go forward in the game.
Mhm.
And I've tried to play the character on the straight and narrow, and the game really doesn't want you to do that. Like it ends the adventure really, really quickly. So the trick is trying to see how far I can kind of like corrupt the character without turning him into a complete asshole. And seeing how far I can get in the game with that. And it's like I said, it stresses me out sometimes.
So for you, you're playing it more like a character study?
Yeah, because it stresses me out because it's like the game wants me to do things that I personally morally wouldn't like want to do. So I'm kind of like projecting. So the stress comes from me kind of projecting myself into the character, and it's like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Damn it, we have to do that. It's like, and yeah, it's I'm just not the when The Sims came out and like the first thing everybody does is torture the characters. And then you get that out of your system, and then it's like then you start playing the game the way it's supposed to. I can't do that. So I cannot play what optimally is Dark Rowan, where it's like you completely corrupt the character to unlock all of the options, and I can't do that. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for a couple of updates and and see what happens. But that would be my guilty pleasure. Right now.
Nice.
Seeds of Chaos, Venus Noir games.
There you go.
Yeah.
Miss
Lanning, what are your guilty pleasures?
I consume copious amounts of marijuana, so I feel no guilt anymore. Mog, I used to be an adventurer like you until I took an arrow in the knee.
Oh no.
No, seriously though, like I don't know. There's a couple things I'll pretty much stop anything for, and that's an episode of Friendship is Magic, or oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. Malibu's Most Wanted. I fucking love that movie. I will stop life for that shit. I swear, I'd be like, traffic, looking for my chapstick, feeling kind of car sick. There's a Ford Maverick. Yeah, that's it. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yep. And you goofed on me, huh?
Bro, I'm sorry.
All right, so let's all right. Scott Roosevelt says hello, everyone. Hello, Scott. American Ninja is fun. I think it's something that you feel shows that are guilty of shitty taste sometimes. Like the 15 seasons of Supernatural that we just binge watched. There you go.
I actually like that show.
Yeah,
there.
I do feel they're shitty at their jobs, but I do enjoy the show. I think they're horrible at the fucking profession. They suck at it. But anyway, not exactly guilty, but I need to have my political shows and or kitchen nightmares playing as I work on my commissions or books.
He needs to hear Gordon Ramsay yelling at people.
I need the British one to get off of the British Amazon Prime, because they're like, you have to have a special subscription.
Oh,
I've watched all
Acorn.
The ones.
Yeah, Acorn. Yeah, I had to do that too. I had to subscribe to Acorn to get the shows that I wanted to watch.
Yeah, I've watched all of what is on Prime, and now I need the British side, and I can't. Yeah. So I moved on. It sucks.
Gotcha. That game sounds stressful.
It is. That's why I had to chill for a little bit. Like I said, I'm waiting for a couple of updates, waiting for them to. It's a game that's in development. They run a Patreon, and sometimes they run Kickstarters to develop more of the game. So they do quarterly updates, And it's like, yeah, so there does come a point where you kind of like reach the end of what the developers were able to get done. But yeah, no, it is a stressful game. And it's like, and people talk about it in the chat rooms, like, oh, it's how do you unlock all the, the sex scenes and shit like that. And I'm like, wait, it's like, dude, we have a story to move forward with. It's like, focus.
That's how you know it's a guilty pleasure right there. That's how you know.
Right.
Okay, Miss Co-host, your question, please.
Hold on. Is it? Hold on.
Yes.
What's our favorite hentai game?
Right. Exactly. Okay. So let's see. So. So, are you all about the journey or the destination when it comes to your work?
Leanne, you're up.
Can I defer to Mog and On? I think there's a private chat. You check on that, and then come back to me.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, because Mog and On got
so sweet.
Show to go. Yeah.
Okay.
You're so awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
All right. So On,
you're muted.
Oh, I guess so. For me, it's, can I say both in a way? Because I love the journey. Like when I'm doing the piece of artwork, I love just seeing every stroke goes down and like solving the problems. For me, art or anything creative is problem solving. It's like a lot of times in school we get dismissed by saying, "Oh, it's just art. You're just playing around." That's what I get from my parents too. They're like, "Oh, you're just playing around. Go get a job." But I was like, you know how much brain power I have to use right now to solve every single inch of this piece of work, and just marketing and all this other stuff. But that is the fun part. But at the same time, for me, I just can't wait to see it done too, and just because it's a pride. Once a piece is done, it's almost like, look at my child. I just created her. But then you go on to the next one and it's the same thing. So for me, it's both.
Let's be honest here. The ending is important, okay? Journey, oh my God, this is the most painful part. Why do anybody would say, oh, I love the journey? No, let's be honest here, okay? It's the end. We want the end, okay? Yes.
It says the lady who we have to say, hey, Mom, you have like 5 minutes left. Hurry up.
Actually, I do have to go, guys. Yes.
Okay. So before you guys go, though, let us. We can start with On. On, where can we find you and your work?
You can find me on Facebook with my name right there, ANHVU, and then I'm also on Instagram at ONK97. I used to do Twitch. I haven't had the time to, but it's also ONK97. Twitter, you just add an underscore in the back of that. But yeah.
All right, cool. Mog, where can we find you and your work?
Guys, I made it so easy. Usually here. Instagram is Mog Park. Facebook, Mog Park. Yeah. But if you want to see my artwork, it's Art de Mog Park. Yes. And we're going to go on this right now in about, 20 minutes or 15 minutes? We're doing ASN, as you can see, Sunday. And Draw and Bid, we do it every month. And this month theme is steampunk. So it's going to be awesome, guys. And details, again, go to my Mog Park Facebook page. And Kickstarter, hey, guys, right now, my cover for Sister Mercy number 6 is out. Please back that or support it, or at least share it, guys, okay? And then next May, look for Crossover Division number 4, and then Spectres and Submission number 4. I'm doing the cover arts for both of them. And cons attending, San Diego Comic Con Fest, April 21 to 24. And then in Ontario, California, Comic Con Revolution, May 21 to 22. And then Free Comic Book Day, I will be doing on May 6 to 7, but location, I don't know, because I'm debating between 2 locations. I'll let you know. I will let you guys know if to be posted. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting both of you. Mog or On, you're always welcome. So if you ever have to promote or push anything, you can always hit me up. And at one point, I will probably want to do a one-on-one interview. So I'll get to you at some point because I'm like 19 people that want to come on. So it's gonna be crazy.
I want to say, JD, thank you so much. You actually asked very interesting questions, and Nita. great job asking me a very interesting question. You did great.
Actually, the
Definitely
best
Where's
questions
my
I've
one-trick
gotten.
pony,
Yeah.
man?
These are the best questions I've
Yeah, I think
gotten
Nita has
on
the best
shows.
questions.
Yeah,
I
really
like it.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Snoots, it was nice meeting you. And LK, you're so cool, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys at the cons.
Yes. Oh, where are you gonna be?
I'll be at both of them. I don't have table numbers yet, though.
Really? So you're
Yeah.
actually located in California?
Yeah, I'm in like Palm Springs, so it's a bit of a drive, but I'll be
Oh
making it
yeah.
there.
I can't wait to see you in person then.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll see you guys there.
All right, guys.
Aloha, ladies.
Cool.
Okay.
Have
Thank
fun,
you.
Brick Leg.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Sorry.
All right.
love on.
So now there are 5, right? So Leanne, you're up.
Okay. Okay, it was journey or destination, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It depends. Like, I mean, okay, yes, there are times when I'm writing and I'm like not enjoying it. But most of the time, I really enjoy the writing process. Most of the time. There's always those times where you're like, man, I have to get this done. I'm not in the flow right now, and you just gotta do it. But yeah, no, I really love that journey. However, I love the end product and all of that, fun marketing and business stuff. Like, I don't hate it, but oh my gosh, yeah, no, I'm way happier when I'm at like the end point of that. Yes, okay, this project's done, this thing is done, whatever it is done. I got my degree in apparel design. I hate sewing, but I love it when something's done and it looks great, and I'm like, yes, this is awesome. I just created this. But yeah, no, the process on sewing, not so much.
Nice. Miss Snoots, where you at with that?
I would say I'm similar. I was pursuing a degree in fine arts, and there's definitely aspects of comic creating that I like and aspects that I don't like. I think sometimes on certain aspects of the journey, I definitely get burnt out. And it's like I'm doing the one process over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's just like I need to switch it up. And then I go to switch it up, and it's like, there's nothing I can do right now. I have to do this one thing I'm burnt out on. So I'm like, shit, I just need to get it done. And then when it's done, sometimes there's that lackluster of you've been working on it for so long. You're just like, I'm glad you're done. Get the fuck out of here. So, but there are moments where you do catch that high, and you are just working on it, knocking it out, enjoying the journey. And so when you do get it done, it's really awesome. So it's really hard to say the journey or the product, because they go hand in hand. When the journey's rough, the ending's rough. When the journey's great, the ending's great. So it's one or the other for me. It's hard to answer.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. Nita?
The journey. Always the journey. Because once you get to the destination, it's over. And I don't know, especially with writing, it's all about the journey for me because of what I like to write. The destination's quick and abrupt and done, and it's that build up that makes that destination worth it. And so, yeah, the journey.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, for me, it's always this.
Yeah.
The end. That's the part that I enjoy the most. Holding the finished book. I mean, I write it, I give it to the artist, I get it all back, I edit it, and then I letter the damn thing. But this is the part that I enjoy the most. And let me tell you, I enjoy lettering, but shit, it sucks. It just takes like that. Of all the things that if there's one part of the process, if I could ever give up, and I don't want to give it up because I consider it another level of editing for me, but that would probably be the one part I would give up if I could. So, but yeah, that's how I see it. Daphne?
I'm definitely the destination when it comes to it's like, yeah, because Snoot said that it's kind of, sometimes it feels like you're just like grinding on the same thing over and over and over again. Like I finished issue 6, penciling issue 6 and issue 7 of Ego Raven, and I had it's like, and I have and I have the layouts for issue 8, and it's like the pencils are done, but the books aren't done, which means that I have to go back and I have to now look at them 2 more times in order to get them finished. And it's like that part, like doing the pencils was like I was having the time of my life. I was getting these pages done and just seeing them in that blue line. But then it's like the ink, all of a sudden it's like now it's the middle part. Now it's like, oh, this is where it starts to drag. And it's like, and then it drags until I get closer to the ending. And then, usually what's ironic, I'm opposite with the lettering. It's like lettering is the part where I know it's like I'm almost done. So I find lettering very relaxing. I'm sitting there lettering going, oh, we're almost finished. And but in the end though, it's like everything, if I could get more trade paperbacks completed faster, that's what I want. It's like I'm definitely destination. It just getting those trade paperbacks together and saying I'm finished. Yeah.
All right, cool. Carlos says, "I love Journey. Don't stop believing." The journey is so stressful and many times filled with perils, so the destination is definitely preferred. Yeah. The work is hard, but the reward is a bliss.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the irony of it too, because it's like it's not that it's difficult. I think I'm at a point now where this is all like a lot easier for me to do. It's just it takes time, and that's the part that I get really impatient with. That's like, oh, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. So but yeah, but I guess it's like that's what makes the final trade feel so satisfying, or having a final comic feel so satisfying. It's because it's finally done.
Nice. All right, Miss Coco, you're up.
Have you ever seen someone do something that you thought was a bad idea, like on Kickstarter, comics or prose, whatever, and it actually paid off? That you looked and you're like, how in the fuck did that even happen? Ooh.
That's an interesting question.
Wow.
Snoots, you're up.
I wouldn't say I've seen one and I'm like, how did that pay off? I've seen them and I'm just like, why are you doing another campaign when I haven't received one from 2 campaigns ago?
Ooh.
So
yes.
Yeah. I've seen a few of those are just like,
where's my last book, bitch?
Right.
Yeah. So not calling any names or anything. I'm just like, I've seen quite a few of those campaigns where I'm like, how are these people still getting money when nobody's delivering? So,
And
I'm not
mind
one
you,
to
it's kind of hard
because...
to narrow it down because so many people do that.
But no comment. But it's hard for me to say that because I know our book is taking a long time, but it gets particularly irritating because, like, how you asked earlier, how many campaigns can I manage with the one I have? So it's just like, I know I need to make my book come out, so I need to buckle down and do my book. So I have no business doing other campaigns. So to see other people not fulfilling, and they're 3 campaigns down the line, I'm like,
right.
Come on. So that would be my answer.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Leanne, what do you have?
I'm not sure if I've seen that, just because I don't know. I feel like this sounds a little bit bad, but I don't pay that much attention to like the campaigns and what people are doing. Like when I have friends, are having a campaign, I'm just like, oh, yep, share. Unless I maybe like really, 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 really think it's like not good. But I don't know. I don't think that's ever happened where that's actually been like a consideration for me. But like when I go back, it's really rare for me to actually read through a campaign, like the whole page. I'm usually like, okay, this looks interesting. I might look at the sample pages if I'm like a little bit unsure. Maybe the tier levels, because sometimes the tier levels are a little bit unclear.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's one kind of like when people's tier levels are so unclear. Sometimes it amazes me that everybody else can figure it out and like they don't have 500 questions. But yeah, I usually just like if I like something, I'm like, oh, okay, this is the tier I want. I don't read the whole page, so I'm not really paying as much attention. The most times I like read a page is if it's like in Comics Launch and it's like somebody's asking for a review, basically.
Right. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Daphne?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm always studying other people's campaigns just to see, like, just what's if there are. I mean, it was funny. Christy Shin had mentioned about following trends, and I said that I didn't. I go, wait a minute, actually I do. Actually, I do kind of follow trends, but it's more in like how campaigns are run, and they're more marketing trends rather than like actual product trends. And sometimes it's just amazing how people just slap campaigns together, and it's like they're a mile long, they have like 37 tiers or whatnot, and they're making like
10, 20, 25.
Right. Yeah. And it's
Right.
like, I'm trying to make my campaigns as simple as possible, as concise as possible. And it's like, and it's a struggle just to get what I make, and it's like, and also it's like, yeah, there was like one campaign where, I mean, this guy, it was just like, he had campaigns like lined up, like, so like every like month and a half, he had a new campaign, and he was making bank on these things. And I must have like seen like 5 or 6 of his campaigns, and to this day, I still don't know what kind of book he sells. It's like he completely is like, is it an art book? Is it a comic book? Is it a prose book? But it has like 37 different variant covers on it. But it's like, but for the life of me, I have no idea what I'm pledging for. And I never pledged to any of his campaigns because of that. But in the end, he makes a lot of money because it's the covers. He's doing all these nudie covers and whatnot, which is like, look, there's a time and a place for all of them. It's like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but there's just, I don't know. It's like the lack of care that they put into a campaign is kind of like what bothers me more. That's like, okay, I get it. You're selling it's the variant covers that is the draw, but holy crap, guy, would it kill you to show the interiors, to tell me, would it like, tell me how many pages is it? What do the interiors look like? Is there an actual story? Is it an art book? Can you actually describe the book that you're asking people to pay $25
I can
for?
tell you, in almost all cases I've seen, when they've got that many freaking variants, it's not worth it.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you're getting a pretty cover.
Yeah, exactly. That's, and in the end, that's kind of what I decided, that was probably what was going on. He didn't have to explain. He might as well have been selling prints. Like
Right.
He was just treating the comics or the comic, because I still have no idea what it is. It kind of like tofu, that it's like, it's just a carrier for the cover.
That's it.
I think that's the best way I've heard those comics described.
Yeah, because it's like, the interiors are irrelevant. They might as well be blank pages. It's like, why don't you? Yeah, it's like, why don't you just sell prints then? But then you wouldn't have the comics community backing you if you were just selling prints. So that's kind of what irritates me when I look at these, that and the never ending scroll. The campaigns that just go for on, and because it's like you said, it's like you only read like the top part. It's like you pretty much know by the first paragraph or second paragraph and a couple of sample pages whether you want it or not. So
sometimes
it's like,
you don't even go that far. Just click the video.
Right.
Within 30 seconds of the video.
But it's like they have to explain like every little thing. Like, it's kind of like the opposite of the other campaign that I was complaining about, where this one, they're explaining too much.
Just say, don't token your Kickstarter crawl.
Right. Yeah. It's like, so it's like there are people who say too little on their campaigns and people who say too much on their campaigns. So that's...
It just reminds me of talking to a little kid, because sometimes it's just like you're trying to get an answer and just like they'll give like 1 or 2 words and just like, come on,
Right.
give
Yeah.
me something. Or
Right.
they're like the one person and the thing. It's
Yeah.
like too much information. Just give it
Right.
to me in a sentence.
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah. I just want to know how many pages there are in this thing.
Yeah. So just like find that happy medium. Like,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Joe says, I'm on my 11th Kickstarter. This is the first time I'm having one variant cover. It is now my tofu cover.
That's a coin phrase,
yeah,
Daphne.
I know, right? These are our tofu comics.
That is totally that's coming on a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. And look at this. There's more words in the campaign than the actual book.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know for myself, I think too many people, I mean, wow, it's weird, right? Because we're in a business where it's commerce is art and commerce, right? And we're always struggling with, is it art or is it commerce, right? Because we all want to make a living, we all want to eat, right? But we all want to create art, right? Or at least that's where I hope we're at. And yeah, sometimes I see a lot of these people come out and it's just like, could you please make a decision? Do you want to make money,
right? Or
do you want to create art? And you can kind of tell who's who and what they're doing, who's what. And you're like, okay, well, you're just about making money, and then there's certain individuals who are like, yeah, you're about the art. And then there's some people that manage to meet those two in the middle, and that's where I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to where the art and the commerce can line up. Yeah. But it's hard. It's not easy because you're so focused on the art. You're just like, okay, if I just make a few grand, it's not that big a deal. But there's some is like if they make under 20, they lose their minds and they're like, they don't know what to do with themselves. So yeah.
Oh, there's one more. There's one more between the two, the dabblers.
Oh, but yeah, the dabblers.
Yeah, it's like they're like beyond. It's
Shit, or get off the pot.
Right. It's like. It's more like, like I understand when people say, oh, this is a hobby or something. I mean, even you say that this is a hobby. I mean, I guess on a certain level, it's for me as well. But it's the people who it's like they think that this is a cute thing to do. And it's like they kind of like put together a project and they put it up there. And it's like, and it's like, I really question how serious they are with it. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, even though technically it's none of my business and it has nothing to do with me, it's just like, why are you wasting everybody's time? Mm-hmm. It's like, you're not even going to make it to the second issue, much less a third issue, because all you're doing is just fucking around and putting it on Kickstarter so you can say, I did a comic, it's like,
there are those people. But listen, I say I'm a hobbyist, but I consider myself a high level hobbyist. Like, like if I was driving race cars, I'd be like, Mario Andretti, we're gonna get on the track and I'm gonna beat your ass. It's that sort of thing. I'm like, I'm having fun. This is how I enjoy myself. But I consider myself doing it as high as I can. You know what I mean? I try to do the best I can, and that's really what it is. So, Miss Chaos.
Ooh. I've seen it several times. That's why I asked the question. Because I'm as a marketer, I've seen some shit. Okay, so like there was this one client that Meredith and I had back in the day who there was nothing in his campaign. No matter how many times we'd talked to him, we even went in there and fully edited the fucker, made it look professional, had it, it looked good. He went in there and changed it to this mumbo jumbo mess. None of the tiers matched anything in the campaign. Nothing made sense to where it was like, okay, finally it was like, okay, dude, I'll push it for you like I'm being paid to do, but the rest of the time I'm gonna sit here like this. It's like there's no way. That motherfucker got almost 10K. But I looked at that campaign and I was like, there's no fucking way financially he's gonna be able to pull this off. Not especially in the amount of time he was talking about doing, because he kept making it grandiose and this and that and well, he still hasn't fulfilled, and he's over 7 months late now. So
well, you warned him.
But I warned him. But so I guess it didn't actually pay off because the fans lose out, which really fucking sucks. Yeah. But yeah, it was a terrible idea, and people fucking bit for that shit, hook, line, and sinker. So.
All right. Hey, listen, you have to, when we're off here, I need to hear that idea. I max out on characters on my page, and then Carlos says, I finally backed JD and Daphne's Kickstarter. Thank you. Hey, I've been dealing with COVID, but I got you.
You
Thanks.
did a crossover.
Thanks, fellas. Heal, then back. Heal, and then
Yeah,
back.
exactly. Yeah,
All right.
we've gone through that already. We know exactly how it feels.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
It sucks.
Not fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, here's one: is crowdfunding a bubble, and how far can it go? I think Miss Snoots was first.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because it's like I said earlier, there are a lot of campaigns out there, but a lot of these campaigns are succeeding. You know what I mean? Especially in comics. I mean, that's my primary focus is comics. A lot of these campaigns, I mean, you have to be like brand new and say, all right, I want $50,000 out of the gate and fail. You know, but you could be brand new and say, I want 1,000 or 1,500, even 3K and make it. You know, so that type of growth, you know, do we think that's going to continue, and for how long?
I think for the foreseeable future, it's decent. I think the American market is kind of relying on indie right now. There's a lot of controversy on mainstream comics versus manga. And a friend just sent me an article today about how One Piece just beat out Superman and Batman sales. And One Piece has been around a lot shorter time than Batman and Superman. And the American market is turning more indie because they're tired of what's being pushed on the mainstream for whatever reason. But people crave content. So when the main companies aren't giving them content, it's not like the demand stops. There is supply and demand. And as long as there is supply on an indie market, on the Kickstarters and the Indiegogo and so forth, there will be that growth. So Mike will say all the time he could smell the blood in the water a decade ago, and he was like, we need to actually make this comic, Snoots. We need to actually get it out there. Sure as shit, when we actually were like, you know what? Let's put foot to pavement. Let's actually do this. That's when a lot of this controversy blew up, and we're like, now's the time. Everybody's looking at indie. So I think, at least for the foreseeable future, I think indie has a chance to survive. Absolutely.
All right, cool. Leanne, how are you seeing it?
So do you mean that Kickstarter being a bubble, like there's nobody's coming into Kickstarter, it's its own kind of like self-enclosed environment?
Right. And of course, you know, once that bubble reaches its zenith, it's going to start contracting. So, you know, that's the part, you know, that I'm most concerned about, obviously, is like, is there going to be a contraction at some point?
I mean, this is just like my feeling / like what, without like actual hard data, what seems to be happening based on just like what I've heard from people, it kind of feels like it goes in a little bit of waves. Like sometimes there seem to be more users coming in, more new people, and sometimes it seems like there's a little bit less backing. I couldn't tell you like why those timeframes, but I think that overall we're still going to see like upward momentum on Kickstarter. And if at some point, you know, people are kind of done with Kickstarter, it's probably gonna be something else. Right. You know, somewhere else we can go. There will always be somebody new who wants to, you know, I mean, Kickstarter takes a fee. So somebody else will want to step in and fill that void if Kickstarter's, you know, not around or not working.
Okay, fair enough. Daphne, what do you got?
I kind of think that the only people who are really complaining about it being a bubble are the people who were writing the top for a while and now are not finding that they can reach that anymore. So of course, like, because they're not making six figures anymore, or they're making lower six figures, now it's like, oh, it's not, the whole thing is bad. And it's like, no, it's like your time is done. You know, you specifically, your time is done. Because I mean, I think that as a platform, I think Kickstarter just seems to be kind of like it's going to be going for a while. Like, I don't think that there's a bubble, as like I said, as much as it's just people who are used to making X amount of money on crowdfunding they're for some reason not seeing it anymore. But then again, when you kind of look at their histories, there is a reason why they're not seeing that money. Because honestly, if you know, Brandon Sanderson doesn't have a problem with crowdfunding right now.
Mhm.
So I mean, although to channel Joe D. McPhee right now, it's all about making sure that you have different outlets for selling your stuff. Forget the actual term for that. Revenue streams, having different revenue streams. Although unfortunately, like for me, it's like if all of a sudden Kickstarter bottomed out, like I kind of wouldn't really know what to do next. I mean, it's like I know that I sell just enough on Kickstarter, and it's like, oh, well, could I get that same audience to follow?
The audiences
to
would have to
another-
transfer over because these
Right.
people are still going to want entertainment.
Right.
So they'll just switch platforms. Those who
Right. So that would just be. But the thing is, though, I don't really see Kickstarter going away anytime soon.
No.
That's and I think the people who are saying it's a bubble are kind of like they have their own personal reasons to want to believe that rather than it actually being a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think exactly what you're saying, the whole bubble argument goes out whenever you have people like McFarlane and then this writer who just dropped his books, and they're instantly hitting goal and making millions of dollars, and they're years away from those campaigns, but they're still making the same amount of money years later,
Mhm.
So like what McFarlane dropped his $1 million in a day campaign like 3 years ago, and then dude just dropped his books the other month and same thing. So that bubble can't exist if they're both making the same figures years apart. So like you said, maybe it's just the people who are expecting that amount of money aren't getting that money anymore.
Yeah.
Who's the problem?
Choo-choo. JL says that the thing that really sucks about dishonorable creators is that everyone loses out because backers who get burnt are hesitant to keep backing Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Carlos is our cheerleader today.
Yes.
Oh, you.
Yes. I checked out Snoots art. She's incredibly talented. Yes, she is.
Thank you.
And JL says we need links. I actually put them in the show notes, so they should be in the show notes. All right. So Miss Nita, you're up.
I think it's a gradual incline right now. I mean, yeah, she's right. It absolutely is. It comes and goes in waves. They're little dips, but the trend is upward. And I think we're going to continue to see that as long as there's a demand for something outside of the mainstream.
Yeah.
And I think the only way that Kickstarter would we'd see the end of Kickstarters, we know it would be something from the inside of their own self-destruction. I don't think it would be something. I don't think it'd have to do with the entertainment. I think we just find ourselves moving to new platforms.
Yeah. Patreon, Indiegogo, the market will provide something.
Yeah. Too true. I agree with Daphne. I think it's a lot of these top line guys that are like I think they might have, like anything else, you go up, you go down a little bit, and then you plateau. Yeah, and I think that's what they're seeing. They're seeing that plateau. Now, the only thing is, what's great for us is their plateau is all the way up there. So we have something to climb to, and there's still plenty of space for us to get there. So that's the one really fantastic thing for us. For them, they're, it's I guess, it's not so great because, they've been to the top and they're like, damn it, and they have to try to get back up there. But that's on them to get back up there, right? So, Carla says McFarlane and LIFO put out Kickstarters, but they didn't produce in a timely fashion.
Oh, just like the 90s.
There you go. Exactly. Daphne, what do you got? What's your next question?
Okay. So I guess, speaking of Kickstarter and everything, and the fact that we're sharing this space with so many other people. So what makes what you're doing different from what everybody else is doing, considering that we are kind of doing the same thing?
Fair question.
Yep. I think Who was next? All right, was it Snoots?
I don't know.
Who wants to go first? Snoots.
I can, I guess.
Here you go.
Short-term memory is awful. Don't ask me.
Listen,
What was the question?
So I think what sets our campaign apart is, well, I can pick out a few things. Like I said, Mike could smell the blood in the water a few years ago, and our campaign boasts 7 years in the making. Because we had this idea a while ago. We could see mainstream comics being written differently, and we could see what people liked and what a lot of people didn't like about it. And at first it was the writing and the quality, and the art styles were changing. The writing was making less sense, and it was less about why the characters were doing what they're doing and more about making characters do certain situations. It was fitting characters to situations the writers wanted to happen instead of what would the characters actually do. So what our campaign posts is writing that we have multiple characters with individual personalities. They all have their own character arcs. They all have their own insecurities and issues that they have to address and either overcome or fail. And there is failure. There is actual strife. It's not just like, OMG, you're the best. Why are they the best? They just are. Like, we have actual problems in our book, and it's addressed. It's called issues, for Christ's sake. There's a lot of meanings behind that. Issues was going to be several trade back issues, and we wanted it to be more of an omnibus feeling, an anthology, where each chapter is going to feel like a trade back, but it's going to be just one big graphic novel, which, to another answer to the question, is what makes us different. A lot of people are doing trade backs, and a lot of people are very nervous about putting out graphic novels. So we're taking this huge undertaking for our first book to be the size it's going to be. It's going to be freaking huge. And for the size that we're doing, we're also doing a lot of cameo tiers. And we're not just doing it in our first book. Once the first book is out, we're going to work more on the second book. Like I said, we're learning from the past, and we're going to have more cameo tiers in the future. But we want, since this was born by fans who saw what mainstream comics were doing and they weren't giving us what we wanted. Fans were craving something. So this was a comic made by fans for fans. We understand that there was something lacking, and we want to give what was lacking. We're replacing what was lost. So this is by fans for fans. We want our fans involved. We want not just our fans, but the fans of the comic industry who miss how things were. We want them to be involved, and we want them to have cameos as well. So, yeah, I would say those are our big things that set us apart. There are cameo tiers in comics, but I would say we're putting that as a focal point. It's not just like, oh, we'll just throw you in for a few grand because we have a name and you're paying for this industry title or whatever. We don't have that. It's not for us. It's not about making the money. It's, we want you in the book. So we want as many cameos as possible. So we're making a big ass book that not a lot of people are doing. We are putting many years of thought into this. It's good writing. If you miss the journey of seeing like actual, character study, this is a great book for that. If you miss comics with character study, this is a book. A lot of characters to look through, and it's going to be good. That is what sets us apart.
All right. Nice. I like it. I can't wait to have it.
Me too.
Leanne, how do you feel about it?
This one's kind of a hard one for me. It's one of those ones I still try to come back to on like the comics launch worksheet. I'm like, oh yeah, what do I do differently? But I mean, one thing I do try to focus on is just really fun, entertaining characters. Not fun as in they're always like a fun person, but you know, like fun to read about. You're like, wow, this person's really interesting. As far as like the book itself, I'm pretty much trying to have all my comics done before Kickstarter, just because it kind of gives me too much anxiety personally to do it otherwise. Like, I would be too worried myself. Let me think. What was I say? I know I had more on that specific comic, and I was like, oh, what was it? Now it went out of my head. Whoosh. So yeah, having it completed, which, I mean, there are a lot of people who do that, so it's not necessarily like different, but I do think it's a good, it can be a good selling point for sure to get people on, especially like, I mean, I've had one comic Kickstarter now. It's been a success. It's been delivered. There's one custom item that's going out like next week, and that's it. Everything's done, delivered. So at that level of like barrier to entry, that risk isn't quite there as much for backers now. You know, I'm still fairly new, but I think, you know, that risk, you know, I've shown I can at least fulfill a campaign. I can't remember the other thing that it's gone. It got lost in the nether. Yeah.
No, I got, it happens to me all the time. I'm, you know, but hold on. Carlos says, tell Brian Polito about Plateau. He just finished his 25th or 30th campaign. And he finally hit $500,000. So there's no plateau for him yet. Yep.
Wow.
Listen, I mean, good on him, you know? Good on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're all aspiring to get there, so we can all make it. Nita, what do you got?
I don't know. From marketing, I do what I say I'm going to do. Ooh. That's where I stand out and where I'm different from the rest of them. No, I mean, I'm being honest. How many times, I can't tell you how many clients have come directly from another source, a couple of other sources, and said, I did this. They didn't do this, this, and this. I was out of this. What do you do? I'll give you my numbers, and I won't make you any promises, but I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And that's where I stand out from the rest.
All right, cool. For myself, I mean, I don't know what I do differently. I just try to produce the best books I can. You know, as far as doing something differently that's going to make me stand out, I mean, you know, I try to do the best book I can so that I look better than the guy next to me. That's the only thing I can do.
That's all
right?
You can do.
Like, right. It's like I have my story, you know, and the story, I try to make them as strange and as weird as I possibly can, because that's what I enjoy. So, you know, and that's it. I mean, I don't know, like, yeah, because it is a weird question. I'm probably, what are you doing differently that makes you, I don't know, you know, I just try to do the best I can and just be the best I can be, you know. So that's it for me. Daphne, what do you got? Answer your own question.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because like I'm the one that asked it, and it's like, and even I don't know how to answer it. I mean, yeah, it's like when the comics launched, those comics launched questionnaires always throw me for a loop too. I mean, I guess it's like the thing that I hope that I'm doing differently is that that I'm writing stories that, even though they're in a very fantastical environment, fantastical is even a word, that it's still very relatable to people. That, you know, it's like, you know, I've read a lot of comics where it's like the story is very superficial. That it's just like that. It's just enough story to justify the pictures, you know, to justify it existing, kind of. And you know, and it's like, okay, so it's kind of like you finish reading it, and it's almost like it's not even satisfying or unsatisfying. It just creates this ambivalence at the end of it. And I'm hoping that I'm writing in a way that at least, you know, people are like going, I can enjoy this, I can relate to it. Even though I'm taking a lot of like the most ridiculous and superficial fantasy tropes, because I do enjoy that stuff, and kind of trying to turn it into something that's actually unique, or at least like different from the genre, you know, that it's a little bit, you know, more fun and while still being serious, and it's more character oriented, and the story does engage people to follow along and want to collect the next issues. And I mean, on my fourth, this is my fourth crowdfunder for like Eagle Raven especially, and I mean, that's what I'm seeing in the numbers. That it's like there was the first issue blow up, then the second issue dip, and then all of a sudden everybody who kind of skipped caught up on the third issue, and now most of the people on the fourth issue are just picking up where they left off on the third issue. So I'm obviously getting people who are sticking with the story. So I must be succeeding on that level. So
Get that following.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping that I'm doing, that I'm writing better than what I'm seeing mostly out there.
Yeah. You're giving people a reason to care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered.
Oh.
Go for it, Leanne. Go for it.
I have a plan for. I mean, I don't yet have a plan for my other comic, but I will before it goes to Kickstarter. I have a plan for like how many issues I want, how many trades I want. So like I went to my first convention as an exhibitor, not as like an attendee, but as an exhibitor the other weekend. And, people were asking me like, oh, how many issues is going to be? I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Unless people don't like it. And then it will probably end after this first volume. But, assuming everybody likes it, yeah, this is the plan, So,
Nice.
So I've got a plan in place. I don't have everything, obviously, like it's not all written, but, I have the general arc. I know where I want it to go and like how long I want it to be.
Gotcha. How was the show?
Oh, well, it was my first ever. So, yeah, I didn't quite make table, but hey, whatever. It's cool. I was really, by the end, I was really happy because I was just like, okay, I think I can do this again. And I think I can do it better than I did this time. And so, yeah, I think that's worth something.
It was
definitely like the last day I got more like, I was actually not yelling at people, but, actually yelling at people to like come over the last day. So, yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah. We've all been through that. You come here. You like comics, right? Buy this. You just open up your wallet, dump it on here. It's just we've all been there. Jesus.
Yeah.
Nita, you got a question? This would be the last one for the night.
Hold on, the edibles hitting. So this will probably be the last question. So yeah.
Make it a good one.
Yeah.
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah.
Jeez. If there's anything in the industry that you could personally put a stop to, what would it be?
Ooh.
Wow.
Leanne, you're up.
No pressure. Wow. Okay. Wow.
I don't know if I can answer this without getting like
right. Yeah, I know.
There's a certain hashtag group
Mm-hmm.
that I probably don't need to even say the name.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
might know who
probably
you're talking about.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I think just too, like the misunderstanding that some people have around it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't claim to know everything, but I feel like I've done enough research where I'm like, oh yeah, this is maybe not a group I want to be associated with.
Right.
Gotcha.
So probably that. Without getting
Snoots,
myself in hot water here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about the comic industry or like specific indie mainstream, like
Indie or indie period?
Okay, indie. One thing I wish I could stop is how divisive politics are right now. I wish everybody, and love or hate Richard C. Meyer, but his quote of "We are hot dog salesmen. We are dancing monkeys. Shut up and dance. We are creators and we have content to create." So I wish everybody would stop being so political. Like you mentioned the hashtag, how you wish that group would go away. I don't even know what hashtag you're talking about, but depending on the hashtag, there's several groups where I'm like,
Right.
can everybody just shut up?
Yeah.
Everybody
Right.
needs to just stop. No, everybody doesn't need to be assholes. You can have your opinion and you can respectfully disagree with somebody. The fact that everybody's getting so belligerent on social media about this, it's just like, just shut up and make your comics.
Yeah.
Come on. That's I really wish that would go away, because like one of my favorite shows to go on, and again, not kissing your ass, but JD is apolitical, and it's so enjoyable to be on the show because everybody can get along and everybody has a good time because of that. It does not matter what side of the political spectrum you come from. You come on the show and you have a good time. I really wish the rest of the industry could be like that, where it's just like
shut up and talk comics, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to sit here and berate everybody. Just have a good time. Stop being an asshole. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what I would want to change.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Daphne, what do you got?
I mean, really, it's like now it's such a barrier. It's such a huge barrier that it's like, yeah, it's like I'm gonna have to like pretty much dovetail on this too. That it's like, you know, like part of the marketing is realizing that there is a whole segment of the indie comic audience who won't look in my direction because of whatever nonsense they're attached to, and feel like I don't represent for or against whatever they're doing or want to do, and it's like that bullshit has nothing to do with me. You know, it's like I'm just making comics. It's like we're making comics, people. I mean, it's like how did it get so complicated? It's like you either, you know, it's like you either enjoy my stories or you don't. You either enjoy my works or you don't. But it's like at least make that opinion based on the actual work, not on what you're assuming is happening or what you think is happening, or it's like whatever nonsense, you know, you're knee deep in or not. And it's like the fact that this actually has to be part of my marketing strategy is obnoxious.
Yep.
You know, I mean, the fact that there's even this just whole fight between, you know, oh, if you're not on one platform, I won't support your book. And it's like, well, what does that have to do with me?
Yep.
The platform is the platform. That's a you problem, not a me problem. You know, I mean, it's like, especially when you see them making exceptions, you know, it's like, and that just makes it even more obnoxious.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because like, oh, well, for this person, you'll do that, or for that book, you'll do that. But it's like, but, you know, like for me, or, you know, it's like, oh, that's a bridge too far. And it's like, yeah, it's just, yeah, if there's anything, I just want us to enjoy comics. God forbid. That's really all I want us to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
one of the reasons. Oh, sorry.
well, I was just gonna say real quick, because we're running tight here. So, real quick, the thing I would like to see stopped in the industry, and this is has nothing to do with anything other than the mainstream, is that I want to see Marvel and DC, because they copy Marvel whenever they do while they're doing this, is releasing so many books, because we know that they're releasing anywhere from 80 to 100 books. They're not doing it because they need to create that much content. They're doing it to push out all the indies.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it, to push out the indies. They started in the 90s because Image came in and just steamrolled them. And ever since then, they've been like, we're just going to make so much content. We're going to push off everybody else. We're going to make sure that someplace like Image doesn't come back, or, you know, Dark Horse doesn't come screaming in, or some of these other companies just come screaming in and not leave space for us to breathe. And that's really what they do, is they put out so much content. They eat up so many dollars from the fans. The fans don't have, you know, there are people who like the alternative stuff, but I guarantee you,
starting to see through the bullshit too.
Exactly.
They really are. That's why indies are on not only an upward trend. I think we're about to see a new age.
Right.
It's like we're coming at the top.
Right. We can only hope. And as far as the other thing is concerned, as far as the different groups, this is the way I look at it. I started publishing in 92. I didn't have any of that stuff. I don't know anything about that stuff. I stay away from it. I'm like, look, I don't care who you're aligned with. You come on the show, we talk comics, period. I'm about indie comics. That's it. You want to talk about all that other stuff? There are other shows for that. Have fun over there. But here, indie comics. And that's what we're producing. That's what we're creating. So, you know, so yeah. So that's what I got. And Nita, real quick, wrap it up so we can wrap it up.
I'm with you, bro. That was it.
All right. So there you go. So, ladies.
Actually, we should probably start with Leanne. Tell everybody where we can find you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You can find me at headlessgnomes.com or fangsandfoulplay.com, which takes you direct to my sign up for issue 0 of Fangs and Foul Play. And you get my newsletter, which has been lacking lately. Yeah, got to get back on schedule. You can also find me at Headless Gnomes on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and at LK Ingino, blah, 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 on Twitter and Instagram.
All right. Thank you. Snoots?
Hi, Snoots VonSnips. You can find me on Instagram at Instagram VonSnips. I am on Facebook. I'm a part of Word Dance Comics. I am co-founder and artist. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. At Word Dance Comics, you will find a ferret and a rhino. That is us.
Nice.
You can find our comic on Indiegogo. We are Issues Volume 1. Again, we are still backing. Cameo tiers are closed, but you can still get extras and the book. There are extras that we've unlocked. There's still like sketch pages and posters, cards. We have stuff on the way. We are constantly posting updates, I believe at least once a month. So we're still cranking it out. We're still getting there. Please sign up and we will keep you posted.
Cool. Miss Nita?
Anywhere on social media as C_chaos247 or anywhere you find the Raging 2 Broadcast Network.
Nice. No link tree? What happened?
No, I forget what it's called right now. There's a link tree. Raging 2 maybe.
I don't know. I have it in
I
the
put
show
it in the
notes.
show notes.
I put a link to the Raging channel in the
There we
chat.
go.
So.
There you go. Nice. Daphne, where can they find you in your work?
Everyone can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. And you can find me on YouTube on my own channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, and on the Raging 2 network as well. Me and Nita will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. So catch us there as well. So you can read the first 5 issues of Eagle Raven, Air the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format at eagleworks.com. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. So there you go. Right. Everything's at eagleworks.com.
There you go. And I'm JD Calderon, and I can be found under that name under Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, so on and so forth. Look under the OswaldChronicles.com and TallTalesOnline.com. So thank you so much, ladies. You were all fantastic. Thank you for coming. Like I told the other 2 ladies that departed, all of you are always welcome anytime. You got anything to push? I will help you push it, especially up the hill, because that's what I'm good at. So thank you. You guys are great. So have a good night, everyone, and I'll be talking to you all soon.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.